Human Rights Radio.
And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned in to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. It's time officially for Prosumer Forum. Prosumer Forum comes to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's a beautiful day. Just a while ago, we had a discussion on Media Lab, and we promised to be back. So, yeah, we're back on Prosumer Forum. On Prosumer Forum, we bring together the producer, the consumer, and the regulator. But today is going to be a different topic. Jennifer joins us on the program. Good to have you once again, Jennifer.
My pleasure.
Would have been nice to say Jennifer.
That would be nice as well.
Mm-hmm. So you could have said Porter instead of Peter.
Well, no.
Well, on Prosumer Forum, we're trying to take a look at some of the very disturbing issues when it comes to the rights of the consumer and, of course, the responsibility of all three, the producer. How does the producer play a role in a certain process that gets to a certain personality, you and I, who consume? How does the service provider provide the needed information in the right place, the right time, the right location, and the right proportion vis-a-vis the payment for that service? How, of course, does the consumer understand the perspective from which the producer or the manufacturer or the service provider is coming? For instance, if you take a bottle of water, we've used that example before, but let's use it again. And you want to drink water. How many of us have taken the time to, study the bottle, read instructions? It sounds very absurd, doesn't it? But how many of us have done that? Have you tried it before?
Yes, I have, but mine on countless occasions. This is because I tend to take note of certain things like the expiry date and the manufacturing date and all. But this incident occurred, or this occurred when I paid attention to what we call sachet water, what we call pure water, right? And I just paid attention to notice that on the pack is written HIV is real. I never had an idea that that was written anywhere, except I just paid that little attention to see if it was actually showing. So sometimes it's just good to pay little attention to certain things.
So how did your eye go there?
I was bored. Truth be told, I was bored, and I just had the sachet lying over there somewhere on the ground. I just decided to pick it and just have a look at what it really entails, and I just saw it.
Isn't that an obvious thing that happens with a lot of Nigerians? We wait for boredom to give us the go-ahead to take action. So you see an instruction, and it's out of boredom that you see that instruction.
Very true.
Sometimes you have a responsibility to act on certain things, and you wait for boredom to give you the cue. That's a common trend. We must accept that. It's common with Nigerians. But again, how many of us have been able to look beyond that? How many of us have gone to the supermarket and said, okay, let me read information on this pack of milk or pack of sugar or pack of whatever it is? And you're reading and you're seeing the calculation of the calories, the calculation of sugar content, and all of that. There are consumers, I can tell you, especially those who probably are down with some kind of diabetes or some sort of sickness that requires a special diet. Those kind of people are the ones that really take time to check those things.
Very true. And I want to say something. I just noticed, I observed not of recent, that there is actually on every pack of anything you get to purchase in terms of a consumable item, there is actually a side where you get to see everything concerning nutrition. most of us don't know that there are information concerning that. They get to know what contains sodium, an example, protein, fat, carbohydrates, and so on. We don't even get to know. You get to see the amount of each of that, the content in that particular product. A lot of us don't get to understand that fact, and before you know it, you just keep buying things and keep consuming. Later, you find out that you have some certain elements that you don't know where they're all coming from.
Do we even follow instructions as to how a container is supposed to be opened?
No, we don't.
Yeah, because there are some kids' drugs that are designed, the containers are designed in a way that kids cannot open them. It's just a simple tactic. You just press it. Some you raise, you sort of like pull it out.
Very true.
Before you twist. You know, those things have reasons. But I've seen somebody who has tried that thing, tried it, it didn't work, and ended up using nail to force.
Or there's some beverages that has a particular spot of where a straw is supposed to be placed, but trust me, as Nigerians, we don't even have an idea that that is why that thing is actually there. So it's really funny how we take a lot of things for granted, but really painful. Which brings me to a conclusion or a statement that states that if you want to hide anything from a black man, hide it in writing.
And that's probably just one of the most unfortunate sayings. When I hear that, honestly, I feel really bad with myself. It's a common practice. And this is why today on Prosumer Forum, we're entering the mindset of the consumer. We're not so much bothered today about the producer. We're not so much bothered about the regulator. We're more or less bothered about you, the consumer. We want to enter the mind of the consumer. What is that first thing you do when you step into a supermarket, or you step into the banking hall, or you step into a shop, or probably, what other things do we have? Maybe a restaurant?
Maybe a restaurant, yes, basically
the police station.
The police station.
The civil service.
The civil service.
Maybe you place a call to the fire brigade and all of that. What are some of those things? Now, let's look at them one by one. You step into a hospital.
Okay.
You as a person, let's be honest. Let's be very honest with ourselves.
All right.
What is the first thing that comes to mind? I will tell you why I'm asking you this question. What is the first thing that comes to your mind?
When I step into a hospital. Okay. I wouldn't want to say this, but of course I would actually say this. The first thing that steps to my mind is that queue you have to go through every time you come to the hospital. You go to a general hospital usually, right? Yes, I do. Okay. Because that's common in the general hospitals. These days, even some private hospitals. Yes. Go ahead. And that's just the first thing, that long queue. And then the second thing, that's the first, right? Can I go on? Yes, of course I can. The second thing that comes to my mind is the attitude of the nurses. Sometimes when you get into the hospital and after getting your card, yes, this is it. This actually just brought back some memories, because I remember one time I had to go to the hospital to examine to have a checkup, and on getting to the hospital I noticed that there's this attitude they have. This is to say that, someone is sick, you have to understand that there's a way you're supposed to treat him. But I don't think they actually observe that. Maybe because most of them are just doing it because of maybe the pay at the end of the day or something, or maybe they just have bad moods. Let me just imagine that is what is happening. But I don't think it just keeps happening over and over again. You just step into the hospital trying to get the card. The lady selling or issuing the card has an attitude. The guy you go to the cashier has an attitude. The nurse that is even trying to check you, to check the first basics such as your blood pressure, your temperature, she also has an attitude. And if you even ask them questions, it's like you're fighting with them, because she'll be like, what is it? Go and sit down there now. So you see, like those kind of attitudes. Are you better than all these people that came before you? All those kind of talk. Or they'll be like, Abby, they see the line, things like that. And you're sick, you just be like, goodness. And when you finally get to see the doctor, it's like 7 p.m. You were there from 10 a.m. I was there for 10 a.m. I stayed for like, okay, this is actually a private hospital though, but I stayed for, I think about 3 hours before and I was just so lucky, because whatever what I was passing through was not that pressing or that serious. So I was just lucky I could able to hold myself till I got to see the doctor. And it just happened to be that when the doctor was while the doctor was examining me, we had a lot of breaks here and there because this would come with this complaint and the doctor had to go and attend to it. So it just became, and before he finished with me, it was like almost an hour, 30 minutes, just to tell me to go and buy 2 drugs. So it is really sad.
And eventually you think, well, because I know that in the past, each time I went to the hospital those days, just by merely interacting with a doctor, I remember perfectly well, I would simply just get well. I am telling you, it's not a lie.
How it works with you.
I mean, those days, especially when the whites were very much available in the 80s, I remember quite well, because I grew up in a medical environment. My parents are medical personnel, you know. So I know perfectly well that each time you go to the hospital, the way they treated you. So then some doctors will even dash you biscuits. You know, they had some snacks
Cookies
in the cupboard
and all that.
Yes, and all of that. So you had the opportunity of opening up to your doctor much more than you would open up to your parents. And that really, really was helpful to I as a patient, I as a consumer of that service. Whatever service that I was paying for, my parents were paying for, made me feel really, really indebted to most of these medical professionals. Today, it is difficult for you to step into, especially what we have in some government hospitals. It's not all. I've been to a government hospital in this same Abuja where services are top-notch. Services are really up there, and they actually just give you what you've paid for. And you know, there's something about customer satisfaction. When you feel so satisfied, you don't know when you're even thanking the people.
Very true.
When they should really be the ones thanking you for coming and, you know, patronizing their services. And that really, really helps. But let's again go deeper. When you step into a supermarket, is the attitude different from that of a hospital? Because clearly one of the key issues we've had over time about customer satisfaction, patient satisfaction, is the attitude of the medical professionals themselves. And how on earth can you then be a professional in that field if patients continue to complain about poor services, poor human relationship being vetted on them? So let's look at the supermarkets and some of the social environments, because yes, it's a hospital this time, but the next one might just be a social environment where you probably have your kids in your what do you call this thing now? This
Controller.
the trolley, yes.
Okay. For supermarkets, right? They also have similar. I don't know. Okay, now let me be more specific. In Nigeria, what I've really noticed, not just in Abuja, in other states, what I've noticed is that when you step into a supermarket and you're trying to get something, everybody has an attitude. I don't know if it has to do with, just like I said earlier, maybe they have issues at home, or they're going through one challenge, or it is something that is inbuilt in them, because I think it is more than a privilege for you to serve people, because at the end of it, I mean, your organization or your establishment, whoever you are working with, the credit goes to them, and it also comes to you. I am a big fan of tipping. I believe in the tipping service, whereby you get to treat me right, you get to offer good services to me. I feel it is right for me to tip you.
But not all supermarkets accept tips.
Yes,
for
but
their
you know,
staff.
some of them have a tipping jar. I mean, for those that do have. So this is to say that it gives an encouragement to these people that serve us.
So if there are no tip jars, are you saying that services are not your rights?
No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that is my own way of personally appreciating services being offered to me. In some cases, this is to encourage the person, because I noticed that for most of these service providers. When I mean service provider, I mean it cuts across all places. So for supermarkets, to be precise, they always have an attitude. You have an attitude with the only people I think they basically don't have attitude is those who try to get their attention to help you out with certain things, to show you where certain products have been placed. Those are the only people that don't really have attitudes. Or if the store is being owned by a white person, they have special measures. There's this seriousness attitude they have towards it, especially when the manager is around or when they have a superintendent around. That is where you get to see them at their best behaviors. Else you just see that they just give you poor services. Let me say this. I got something in a supermarket and I didn't really notice the price tag on it. So because, not that I didn't notice, there was no price tag on that particular product. So after getting to the counter and they were like, there's no price tag, she was like, okay, I should go back and return it. I was like, I should go back and return it, or you're just going to find out what it costs? And she's like, no, I should go back and return it. And I just felt, no, I mean, I can't do that. We had to go through a whole lot of process before someone came and intervened in the situation. We wasted time. Other customers were waiting. So I'm just saying that basically they just have this attitude problem. I don't know if it has to do with their training, the training sections they have, or if it has to do with a personal thing concerning that. But I just feel if you're rendering services to people, it should be something that you willingly want to do.
So obviously services will differ depending on the context. But we'll take a very quick break on Prosumer Forum. When we come back, we'll look at the various contexts of services that should be given to any customer, which you should know is your right. Stay with Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
My name is Olabisi Fonshaw in Central Area. I listen to Human Rights Radio. I also employ you people to be listening to it. They are very good people.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
As a business owner, you may ask yourself for a reason why to advertise with Human Rights Radio. Well, I'll give you 5. 1. We operate a 24-hour Facebook TV that accommodates all our programs and with over 50,000 views per program. 2. All around the world, millions of people tune into our station live on our Human Rights Radio app, available on Android and iOS. 3. We are employing over 2,000 conversers ready to attend to all your advertising needs. 4. With our very affordable rates, you are guaranteed the best value for your money. 5. We go beyond radio and can be found on all other social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Periscope, proving that while other stations enjoy listenership, we enjoy followership. So if you're still asking yourself for a reason why to advertise with Human Rights Radio, I believe the right question is, why haven't you already? Welcome to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting.
Human Rights Radio.
Welcome back to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. This is Prosumer Forum. This is the forum where we bring together the producers, manufacturers, consumers and regulators, and of course disgruntled consumers, as the case may be. We try to take a look at some issues of great concern that will be helpful to the general well-being of every Nigerian. On this platform, you can join us on our Facebook fan page and watch us live. Simply just go to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM and you will see us live drop your comments. We will definitely get to see that and eventually read out your comments. If you have experiences as a consumer, wherever it is, let us know what you think should be the right behavioral pattern on both the service provider, whether it's in terms of products or services, or even as a consumer. Let us know what behavioral patterns, because that's what we're really analyzing. And before the break, we took a look at the behavioral patterns that are common in hospitals, and we did say most professionals, in not all of them, but a lot of them, do really have issues when it comes to customer care and relationship with patients. We also established that of supermarkets, which is clearly a very big issue. There's a particular place, very common place, and I think we share the same thought.
Yes, we do.
Yes. When you go to the food section, the attitude there is something else. Yes, and people come from behind, well, definitely shunting.
Yes, they shunt.
They shunt, and then you're standing there with your money. I mean, is it just in Nigeria that we have this problem? Who has traveled abroad between you and the producer? Because I don't know. Because is this something that is common here, that you have your money and you're not given the service you want? Have you seen that happen here?
Yes, I've seen that happen here. And yes, in one of the countries I've been to. No, sorry to say, I think it's just in Nigeria. I don't know. But yes, for what I've noticed or what I've observed, it's only Nigeria. I think we just need to prepare them more often, allow them go for trainings. And there should be some bonuses given to them. That would get to encourage them. That's what I was trying to say concerning tipping. But basically, these people are not just friendly, because it happened to me that I was on a queue trying to get something, and someone came from outside and just said, so person said, so that was all.
It's all about connections.
It's all about connections, even while serving food. So it was so sad that everyone had to scream at the lady serving, and it just brought this outrage of chaos, and it was really funny.
What about the banking sector? I mean, we've seen a lot of sanitization in that aspect, and if, for instance, you had to post something on social media about a particular bank, you will get instant response if it's a bad thing that you're trying to raise awareness against. That has happened quite a number of times. But again, the question is, why is it that sometimes, even in the banks, you see that kind of thing happen? You see a security man finding his way, squeezing through the queue. Before you know anything, you will just see him on the opposite side near the counter, behind the counter, and he's busy, whispering to whoever, the cashier, or what do you call it, whatever it is. And then next thing, bam, 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 cash is stamped and given to him, and he takes it out to another customer who simply just came a minute ago. It's a question. It's a question.
Should I attribute it
before Uncle?
Okay, this is so sad, because not just, it doesn't just have to do with you said something earlier. It all has to do with connections.
That's the mentality in Nigeria. Let's not make connection look like it's a normal thing.
It is not a normal thing. It's a bad thing.
It kills business.
That is it.
It kills customer care.
Of course.
And it kills relationships.
Yes.
Between the customer and the owners of the company.
But it is also very sad that is what most Nigerians understand. That is a language.
Don't try that. That will not work in a motor park. Honestly,
it won't work.
It will not work. Even if they understand it, they will not accept it. Or if there's, you see that happen quite often, even in filling stations when there is fuel scarcity, don't you? And,
yes.
Yeah, and then it becomes a big fight here and there.
I would say Nigerians have to just get rid of that corrupt mindset. I'm sorry to say, but it's even in the veins of our children. because trust me when I say this, that a child is very key to understand certain behaviors you get to execute, and he gets to copy from that. So when you do certain things that is not right, every other person next to you just thinks is right, and then they just carry on with it. In terms of shunting, in terms of knowing every other person, it is not right. We still have decent Nigerians that know people in certain places but still respect rules and regulations of services. And they always go through queues. No matter how long it is, they still wait, they're still patient. Yet we still have those ones that think it is not going to be okay for me to wait, and then they just put a call through or call someone, which I feel is not fair. Of course it is not fair, but because that is what most Nigerians want to keep practicing, that is how they execute it.
Even those that condemn it, sometimes when they have the opportunity, they take advantage of it.
They practice it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. We're joined by Mr. Paul Imo. He's a consumer that we decided to bring into the studio so that it won't look as if we're just telling our own stories from out of the blues. Let's hear a first-hand story about his experience in the banking sector. This is something that we're not saying for the first time, but we know that the context of some of these service delivery issues differ, and we'll talk more about that later on. But Imo, you're welcome to the program. Good to have you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for the opportunity. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, I'll start by making mention about the issue of people coming and trying to dodge to go to the front. We Nigerians will have a problem. We are patient in some areas, but some areas we fail to be patient. Let me give an instance of what happened in the bank where I was working. There was a woman, anytime she comes to the bank, after collecting her own pay, she will now like push 1,000 naira to the cashier. She does this anytime she comes. And then we observe that anytime she is on the queue, even if it's at the back, the cashier will give her a signal to what, come over, and she will just pay her and she will leave. You understand? So this is one of the disadvantages of the tipping we are talking about. Now, these people now, they now note certain customers that when they come and in the heat of the queue, they make way for them, they pave way for them. They don't care about who came first, they just pay way for them because of the tipping and the rest. And I also have an issue with the bank. Basically, I don't like having many bank accounts, so I have 2 bank accounts. Now, there's one bank, these 2 banks, is this other bank I love so much too. And I just woke up one morning to just receive a message on my phone that I subscribed to. Is it a magazine or something? A newsletter or something that was kind of like strange to me. And
you had never seen it before?
I've never seen it. That each month I'll be deducted, this is about 25,000 or 35,000 naira. And when I received this message, already it had accumulated for like 3 or 4 months. They gave me a message that the balance in my account is not up to the amount, but as soon as I deposit money, they will deduct from it. And this now has given me a problem that I have not gone to the bank again. Now I want to like go to the customer care and tell them that I don't know when I subscribed to this, but even if I have subscribed, this 4 months they said my money is pending, that once I deposit, you will now deduct from my account. Even if I now opt out of this newsletter you say I subscribed to, which I don't know when. What of the 4 months? That 35,000 times 4 months, about more than 100,000 naira. You understand? So now I've stopped. That dissatisfaction has made me pull out of that bank.
You have now dodged from that bank.
You understand? So some of these things, they impose on customers. They don't even know why. Sometimes some of these messages come, you don't even know when you subscribe to. According to them, they say you subscribe when you don't even know when you subscribe to. This is now bringing a lot of dissatisfaction to the customer, knowing the state of the economy. That's what I have to say about it.
But you're sure are you sure that that wasn't a scam message?
No, it wasn't a scam message.
You checked and it's clearly from the bank.
It's clearly from the bank because it is linked to an email attached with a link, and the link takes me straight into the main website of the bank.
So it's not even a fake website.
It's not
clearly
at all. There I'll see everything about. I saw everything about myself, my name, account details, and everything. So it is for real.
So if you had just accepted, let's say 25 times 4, that would have been clearly 100,000 naira for just a newsletter.
Yeah, a newsletter. I've never received it even for once. They say I subscribe to. I've never even received it.
So you can see the context we're talking about. I mean, there are instances that we've seen people lamenting, even with the telecommunications. You have a message, it pops out and it says, subscribe to this so song. I mean, you know how phones are. If you don't want it, you click outside the box, it disappears. Now, if you mistakenly say cancel, from what one of my friends was telling me, in some cases, it automatically activates.
It has happened to me.
You click cancel, and it activates.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. That's
At
not
all.
good.
And
is it a typographical or a mechanical problem or a computer problem, or I don't know, or is it for real?
I don't think it should be a typographical error, to put it that way, because
when I say typographical, I mean in terms of the programming. Maybe the programmers made a mistake when they were typing the program for that particular
that's what
service.
I'm saying. It has a cancel button. It has a cancel button which says cancel. Cancel means I don't want, right? In the layman's language, I don't want. But then when you try that, before you know, you just say yes to it, and they just keep sending you. It happened to me, but I didn't really notice, not until I saw one time that I think they forgot to deduct the money, so it just accumulated. Then at one point, it just deducted a huge amount of money from my account. And I was wondering, I had to call customer care, and they were like, this was what happened. I said, no, I didn't subscribe. They said, okay, they had to cancel it. So they had to cancel it from their own end to show that it's no longer existing. So basically, I just feel it should be a problem from them. That's just maybe a little trick to just get more funds coming in.
So the mindset of the consumer really matters in our discussion today. We want to know how you feel when you have your services taken away from you, your rights as a consumer not given to you. You pay money for your service, you don't get it. Rather, you get a smile or an abuse. Have you seen how I mean, watch customers. Anytime you go to a setting, either a government, especially in government organizations and hospitals, you will see somebody who was making serious noise outside, humbling himself. Customers in Nigeria a lot of times are afraid to even ask for the service. And you see somebody stuttering, trying to ask, please, where can I find so office? You know, sorry ma, you're calling the customer care ma, because you don't even want that trouble in the first place. Unfortunately for you, Mr. Man, you still get that trouble in the end, and you have to pay for it. That's quite unfortunate. If you want to share experiences, let's see what is going on in your mind as a consumer. What rights have been taken away from you? What context have you found yourself in? Call us up on 081 89 99 1011. That's the number to call and be part of Prosumer Forum today. And we decided not to bring any regulator because we wanted to face just the consumer issues. And clearly we have seen some of the instances that are very obvious. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Prosumer Forum.
Thank you very much for this program. It's like an eye-opener. And I really appreciate this platform.
You're welcome.
It's very true that the banks and also network services and providers are dubious. You wake up in the morning. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. You wake up in the morning stretching and then you get a message. Sometimes you don't even have time to read those messages and you just pop OK. And 100 naira is deducted from your account. And sometimes this messages comes like 3 times in a day. You don't even know, you don't have time to read. You're in the middle of a traffic, struggling, and then the message comes up, and you just press OK to just take that message off the surface of your screen. And then it deducts money from you and all that. I mean, that is very, very dubious. And I'm sure it is from the top of this management. They need to caution themselves. They need to really, really caution themselves. If that's a way of getting money, that is a very bad way of getting finances into their company. So please, thank you very much, and let us preach this gospel till it gets to their notice.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I mean, I didn't even know that it could be 3 times per day. Does it depend on your phone? Because somebody said, I think jokingly, if you use a very expensive phone, you get more charges. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Prosumer Forum on Human Rights Radio.
Thank you very much. This is Mr. Ogin now.
You're welcome to the program.
And I'm happy for this program because I'm eager to, who am I to complain? Because this in NTL is, this is the other caller just called now. You open your phone to say, just to open your phone is you have accepted. You have accepted something you did not even know about, or you don't care, or it's not what you want. The next thing they start to deduct it, and when the thing expires, they renew it by themselves and collect their money. So they should do something about this. And I don't know. The thing is getting out of hand.
Quite unfortunate. I mean, this is another worst case scenario. He says you just open your phone, just to open, and money is taken away from you. Hello? Good afternoon. Please put up your radio set. What's your name? Yes. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is
Please go ahead. You're our neighbor.
Yeah, sure. This situation is quite unfortunate. Like this afternoon, I was saying to my friend, he just put on the phone and one of 15 hours was deducted on just easy. He called the customer care, was like complaining that money has been deducted from his account. They saying that he has activated for something. And which is not really active or anything. Why must he like that? He said, and after I said, she told him to refer his name going back. He now told me, the same kind of phone, the same, the new has been deducted from the service fee. So he can't inform the name. That is very, very terrible. It's very, very terrible. It's very, very terrible experience.
Honestly, that's oh my goodness. I thought he was done, so I ended the call. Well, but it's still fortunate. We're going to join our Muslim brothers in prayer. When we come back, we'll take more phone calls. Please keep calling us right after the prayer, and we'll definitely pick your calls on Prosumer Forum right here on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM.
Human Rights Radio.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة
حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
This is Human Rights Radio 101.1. Redefining broadcasting.
Welcome back to Prosumer Forum on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. We took a break to join our brothers and sisters in prayer, and we're back. And you will agree with me, Nigeria needs prayer, a lot of prayer. But then let's again remind you that on Facebook you can watch us live on our fan page. That's simply go to our fan page, Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, and you will see the videos there. It's actually a full-time TV on Facebook, the very first of its kind, and you will get to also drop your comments if you wish, so we can know your stories. We're looking at the mindset of the consumer today, and we decided to keep on the one side the producer, the manufacturer, the regulator, and focus on the consumer and what is classified in certain contexts as rights being taken away by the consumer. Paul gave us an instance of how the banking sector has affected him in terms of, or how he has been affected by some of the excesses in the banking sector. We also have Jennifer's experiences as well, and we were taking phone calls. Go ahead and call us up on 081 89 99 1011. Quite a very disturbing trend. It is a common thing in Nigeria that you have your money and you don't get value for that money whenever you need that value to be given to you. Hello?
Hello.
Oh my goodness. First female caller. It's good to have you on the program.
Hello?
We can hear you. Put off your radio set, please.
Okay, my name is Steve Matthew.
It's good to have you on the program.
Sir, this bank, Diamond Bank, they used to reduce money from my account every day. Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
This is serious. So. Well, have you reported to them?
No.
You know, you need to report to them. You cannot allow them keep removing your money, right?
In fact, last month, almost 2,000 naira. They reduced 2,000 naira. I don't know what for.
But did you subscribe for anything? Did you ask them to subscribe for anything at all?
I don't know. I don't know who I can go there.
If you go there, just go to the customer care unit. Immediately enter bank. Those people that used to sit, you know, they used to keep some beautiful women on the side like that on one table. Those are your customer care. So you just go. Don't allow that smile to deceive you. Tell them your mind. You hear?
Yes, sir.
You tell them your mind, and if they don't do anything, then you can go to the appropriate authorities, and you can also call us on this program and tell us again.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for telling us your experience. 2,000 daily or once in a while. What did she say?
She said last month 2,000.
2,000. That's too much in a Nigeria where people are really trying to survive. That's a lot. I think it's just very important that she reports that to them as soon as possible. So on our Facebook fan page, Paulina Jacob says, it happened today in the bank I went to. The lady was chewing gum and chatting while customers were waiting. I was so angry even though I was not on the queue. So you see what we're talking about. How can you be attending to customers and chew gum?
That's so unprofessional.
But, I mean, the customer is obviously not going to be happy about that.
Not at all.
So, Paulina, next time you see that, you should have the right to be able to face that person and speak to them directly. I have had my own moments where I walked up to customer care and I told them my mind the way it is. There is no reason why services should be rendered in haphazard manners, especially where a customer is paying for a service and, you know, that customer seems very disgruntled and not happy for what is being given. It's very disturbing, a disturbing trend, I must accept, and that needs to stop. But again, you talked about training and retraining of staff. Is this a problem from the management? Do you think it's usually from the management or from the general?
I would say it's from...
Or the general employees?
It should be from the management, because sometimes they get all carried away with day-to-day activities and they get to forget that they are trying to serve people. It is something that once in a while you should get to have these trainings to help your staff, equip them with better equipment. This is also a time where you give room to hear their basic challenges, some of the problems they are facing. It's just like a platform whereby they get to tell you how it's been going out there, and then you get to chip in new ideas, new ways of getting more customers to patronize you. Because trust me, you can't just run a place all by yourself, or you can't run a place, whatever sort of service you're giving. Definitely, there has to be people to patronize you. You can't just be all by yourself. You're not an island. So definitely, you would have to just train them, give them good equipment, and of course, this is to say that it also lies out to every other person out there trying to render service. You don't know if that smile you're smiling today is going to help that customer feel relaxed. You don't know if that hello, welcome, that beautiful pleasantries you get to exchange with that person is going to brighten up the person's mood. So it's just a way of putting it in ourselves, because trust me, it all has to do with that person at the end of the day. Because I know that there are some cases whereby the management is doing its very best to ensure that they give their best to their customers, yet the employers they have, right, the employees they have, they're the ones not helping out. They're the ones bringing the issues all the time. So it has to do with a personal thing, trying to make sure that you give good service to people out there.
So services are very important, and good services are more important, especially like we've said, when there is money involved. People cannot give you money and not get value for their money. And we've talked about how reactions have continued to, trail on this program. especially when it comes to issues regarding restaurants, behaviors, supermarkets, hospitals, and so many of them, so many experiences on a daily basis, sometimes even with taxi drivers, and sometimes even with the customers themselves. But services are key. Like they've always said, the customer is always right. You know, there's always a turnaround for that. And I gave an example of how I walked into a supermarket and I said, why don't you come and advertise with us? And the lady, obviously, who is not a managerial staff, simply said, we are okay with the customers that we have. We're not looking for any customers. And I laughed until the manager came out. And when I told the manager what she said, the manager was so furious he had to give her a query, because you can see that she doesn't have the vision of the owner of that place. She doesn't have the vision of the manager of that place. How can you on earth say you do not need customers? The ones you have are okay. It means you don't want to grow. Obviously, that's what it means. You don't want to grow. Don't forget that each time you abuse the rights of the services given to customers, you are losing more than that customer in number. You're losing between 5 to 10 customers.
That is it. On
a futuristic calculation. It may not be that moment, but that one customer will go out and say a lot about your services, and you're going to lose more than you can ever imagine. One day you wake up and people are not coming to your supermarket or your hospital or wherever. And we know clearly there are hospitals in Abuja today that have had to face that because one patient was angry and disgruntled and he decided to go out and talk about it. And today those hospitals are battling with public relations issues, trying to convince Nigerians that they are good enough. So we need to watch out for that. It's very important. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being part of Prosumer Forum.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Paul, it's good to have you once again, and we hope you join us from time to time. It was great having you.
Thank you so much. Anytime.
Let's not forget Shola, our producer. She did a great job. And also Mr. Brown, our sound engineer, for helping with the sound. We really appreciate you. Do have a lovely time. And all those who have called to contribute, we hope that you call us as events continue to unravel around your daily activities. Up next, Telephone Vano with the Ordinary President. My name is Peter. Have a lovely evening ahead.
My name is Olabisi Fonshaw in Central Area. I listen to Human Rights Radio. I also employ you people to be listening to it.